Hi, welcome back. In this part, we're going to take a look at modeling these door frames in that have been reused a couple of times in our scene. Let's jump straight into Maya, and I'm going to be working with a couple of image planes. So let's just do this the old-fashioned way. Let's just bring in and let's make them kind of a scale we can work with. The scale is not really important at this point because we're going to be working with image planes. We'll have the right aspect, so as long as we universally scale up, they'll always be the right size. So let's just pop these in like so, and let's move this up 25, then it will be on the surface of the grid. 6 for textured view, assign a new material. So let's come in and we'll just use a Lambert. And I happen to have a front and side view of the door frame we're going to be using, but there's many sort of architectural websites online where you can find this kind of thing. So, or indeed you can just draw your own. So I'm going to Control D to duplicate this, and I'm going to spin it around like so. There we go. And I'm going to assign a new material because obviously we don't want the front image plane on there. And once again, just a file node. And select the side material. I'll make these two materials, two image planes available with the tutorial, of course. Okay, so there we go. Now we just need to line them up. So no need to do anything fancy. You can just line them up by eye. There we go. And it also doesn't have to be so accurate either. Alright, so that gives us our basic image planes. Now I'm going to press F here to focus the camera on the selected object. Then I'm going to press 6 and 6, so I got my front and side view in textured mode. I'm also going to need X-ray, otherwise when we start bringing objects in we won't be able to see through them. So we'll kind of obscure our own image plane, thus kind of defeating the purpose of having one. The other thing I want to do is when I'm modeling along here, I don't want to be constantly selecting these. So as we've done before, just go to the layer editor and click this. This will create a new display layer with the currently selected objects and just flick them onto reference. I can also now flick them on and off, which is quite handy. Alright, so Polycube, which is our starting point for this particular model. And let's get it lined up in our viewport. So I'm going to start off from here. And let's grab some vertex. And just get them lined up. Now, with this front piece, I'm going to line this up so it's about here. This will allow me to extrude things forward without too many problems, without too many geometry problems. And I'll demonstrate what I mean in a second. So let's just get it on kind of this line. Again, accuracy right now is not stunningly important. Okay, and the first thing we're going to do is extrude downwards, but we need to line up this side as well. Okay, so let's just pull in here, and because this is the main line of the doorway, that's where I'm going to start from. We'll extrude these out later. Okay, I'm going to select these points and just make sure they're at 0 in X. That will be the dead center. So when I mirror this across, because I'm not going to model both half of the doorways, of course, I have done sometimes, but in this instance I'm just going to model half. Okay, so that gives us our basic starting point. And we come in here, select face mode, select this face. Okay, and now we're going to start extruding downwards. So you can use the tutorial shelf or the marking menu. Okay, and let's do the first extrusion. Should go to about here, G, here, and just keep it in G, which, as you will know by now, repeats the last command. Okay, G and G, and I think this is where we're going to stop. Let's check the side view. Indeed, because this is the long piece, then we'll need to start going down. This thing you can see here in the image plane is an inner door frame, which we'll add later. But for right now, this is looking pretty good. So we've got the kind of extraction right. Now we need to get the depth. So let's select, let's see which faces we need. We need this one because it's going to come out. And we need this one because it's also going to come out. Okay, and I'm not liking this. There should have been a gap here, so you know you're not always going to get it on the first go. So let's move this up and let's insert an edge loop here. So let's just object mode and insert edge loop tool. And we should have just done a multiple extrusion there, but it's easy enough to fix. Right, so let's work out what faces need selecting. Okay, so this one is staying where it is, this one is moving out, this one is staying where it is, this one is moving out, this one, and this one. So all of these are moving out. Let's get a better look and extrude. And just pull these to the first marker point, like so. So this is lined up with this, and this is lined up with this. Okay, so that's all the faces out to the first point. We no longer need this one. So G, and then we'll just be able to pull these out a little bit, like so. Okay, now we don't need this one. So G, and pull them out to there. Don't need this one. G, pull them out to here. Don't need this one. G, pull them out to here. The reason we've done the extrusion this way is if we just say grab this face on its own and hit G to extrude it, you know, you can end up with some problems where if I put it to say here, okay, now I've got a face here that's not connected here. I want all my geometry to be connected. As we go through the tutorial, you'll kind of get a feel for it if you're new to modeling in Maya. But for right now, this gives me kind of perfectly connected geometry. Alright, so that's the top of our fireplace done. But if we do put our kind of reference back in, you can see this was slightly curved on the original, this part here. Now we can, of course, just start grabbing some vertex and curving them backwards like so. Okay, so if we view that on our model, we'll see that we've got a slight curved indentation there now. You know, you can go to a lot more trouble with the curvature, of course, but for me, this is a fairly chunky object, so that will do for now. Now, let's get this down part in. So let us insert edge loop, and we want one here where the leg would go down. And now, of course, we have to select this bottom face again, but this time just on here. And let's start doing some extrusions, shall we? So, extrude down to the first marker here, G, here, G, here, and let's continue to go down. Now let me check the side view for what's happening here. Okay, so I'm going to need a part I can kind of push backwards. So G, and I believe the next mark is all the way down here. It is. Alright, then we come to a kind of, let's have a look, a kind of lip, I believe. Yep. So G, extrude, so we can create that lip. G again, keep going down, and we'll need to create this. So G again, once more. And there we go. So this is basically a basic extrusion modeling technique. We're doing the whole thing with an extrusion. We've added one or two edge loops, but predominantly this is just really an extrusion. So let's grab all the faces that need to come out. So this one, kind of, and let's see here. In fact, let's go into the side view. It's a bit easier, just so I can get a look at what I'm making. All right. Perfect. So this one first, let's pull that out, G, and let's get it sort of the same distance as that one up there. And we'll worry about these curves inwards after we've got the main geometry done. Okay, and then we've got a curve downwards here, but that will be fine. We'll need to move this one inwards, which in order to help me create the curve and everything else, I'll actually just put an edge loop in here, because that will stop it deforming all this geometry under there. Select the face, and rather than extrude, I'll just push it backwards. Okay, and that gives me this kind of cut here and this more radical slope here, which is pretty much what I'm looking for. Okay, and maybe that's a little bit too far in. This reference is obviously a bit blurred. It wasn't very high resolution, but not to worry. Okay, now let's grab the bottom. So this face is going to stay where it is. So we can do this extrusion just like so, face, and I'm going to hit extrude. And just pull this one out to here. And the same with this one. I'm going to extrude this one. Okay, I can now grab the vertex on here and just pull them down to create that kind of slope. Okay, to create this rounded shape here, I'm going to bevel, but I'm actually going to take care of that when the piece is whole. So let's have a look at what we've got. And we'll flip on viewport 2 so we can get a better look at this. And just turn on the aliasing and the ambient occlusion. There we go. Alright, so that's looking pretty much like the doorway from our room. There are a couple of things we need to do. Obviously it's far too thin and we only have half of it. Actually at this point we only have a quarter of it. Now, you know, I can also come in and let's go at the side view. Start adjusting these things so they're a little bit more curvy. So select the vertex here. In fact, let's select the front and back ones and push them up. And you can see this gets a nicer curve to it, and down. Oops. Okay, so I'm just making that not so sharp, I'm making it actually curved. And we'll grab these and push them downwards. Alright, and there's some beveling to be done on this. This one was quite sharp in the reference, so I'm going to leave it. And let's come in here. And we'll need these, just pull them up a bit, and these, pull them down a bit. Which if we focus the camera on there, that creates a much more interesting shape. And that will get more so when we start to bevel. So in fact, if we come here with this one and go to edge mode, just select these two edges and bevel. That will give us, these bevels will help your model sort of catch the light. We'll be dealing with quite a few beveling procedures later on. But for right now, this is kind of good enough for a basic door frame. Okay, now I'm going to mirror it this way. So I'm going to mirror in X and then mirror in -Z. But in order to do that, I need to get rid of any extraneous faces. The last thing you want when you're modeling something like this is two sets of faces. So, you know, when I mirror, I don't want any of this. So let's just grab all of these faces. Alright, that seems like all the back faces. I missed one. Actually missed two. Alright, so we've got no back faces on now. Okay, perfect. And we'll have some on the side. Let's just get rid of those. And I've selected one there by accident. Okay, and I still had one in there selected. There we go. Okay, so that is our basic door frame. There are a couple of bits left. If we look at the reference, you can see this inner portion that goes round. Now we're going to create that now, but first let's take care of the mirroring. So let's select the door frame. Okay, and let's just go mesh mirror geometry. Now let's make sure we're going in the right way. So we want to go first of all this way. So that would be Z is here, so that would be -Z. Mirror. Okay, and obviously our door frame is double-sided. The wall is going to go in the middle, so this is nowhere near thick enough. So if we come and look at this from the side, I can just select all the vertex down this side, and let's make sure I get them all. There we go. And just move this out till it's of, a bit thicker. I'm not going to worry about exact scaling until I get it into the room, because it's not until I get it into the room that I'll know the exact thickness of the walls and whatnot. So let's just get it about right. Okay, select those down there and move this out so it's about the same thickness. Okay, now we have a nice thick door frame that a wall can go in the middle of. Let us now do this inside portion. Okay, so first off, we're going to need to add some edge loops to this. Okay, and actually let's have a look there, because that edge loop should have gone round the whole thing. So something is stopping it. We're going to have to find out what that something is. There must be an unmerged vertex here somewhere. So let's just take the edge loop out, take this off visible, and see if we can find out what's causing that. So there's something here, and I can see it. There's some bad geometry there. Okay, so these ones have become joined, it looks like. Yep, these ones here are joined and these ones here are not. Okay, so this must have happened in the merge over. Let's just check if this is the only error here. So these vertex here have become merged when they should not have been. So let's just undo this to the point where we first mirrored it across, and let's try and figure out why that went the way it did, because it should not have done. Okay, so as you can see here, these are all separate, so they shouldn't have merged in during the mirroring procedure. And it's important to check this when it happens, because I'm going to delete the history of it before I merge it across. I'm also going to just hit mesh cleanup in case there's something we're not seeing. Okay, now let's try to mirror this once more. So mesh, mirror geometry, and it's got the merge vertices ticked here, which automatically merges verts. These are obviously too close for its tolerance, so let's just try this once more, and it's merged them. So we can't have that. Actually, we're going to have to go to mirror geometry like so, and we're going to have to untick merge with original. Okay, so now it's created the correct geometry for us. The problem is that now we're going to have to go in and merge these vertices manually. Okay, because if we look at this and we move one, it should be connected together. So there is one trick we can try before we do anything else. We can go to edit mesh merge, and because the tolerance on the edit mesh merge is lower than the tolerance on the mirror, I should now have perfectly merged geometry. Yep, that seems like it. Okay, which means now when I put an edge loop in, insert edge loop, it should go all the way around, and indeed it does, which means that our geometry is good. We've got no unmerged vertices, at least in that part of the mesh. And perfect. Alright, so once again we're going to have to make this a bit wider. Sorry about that little snafu, folks. And let's just take this side, there we go, and make sure we get the bottom ones too. And I'm pulling it out just, by eyeball. As I said before, we're going to need to adjust this to the wall size when we get back into the room. Okay, and now I want to make that inner wall panel that we saw here on the reference plane. Where is it gone? There it is. So you see this has got like an inner wall, which we can take care of very easily now. We'll just use the split poly tool, Now it actually works. Now we've sorted out our geometry problem, and we'll make a little thin slice there, and approximately the same on the other side, little thin slice there. Now I need to go into here and select all of these faces, and make sure you get them all, otherwise you're going to end up in a bit of a mess. Okay, and that seems to be just about everything. Now I'm going to extrude this. I'm going to click on the connection handle to center it, and then I'm just going to extrude downwards like so. Okay, so that gives us, and let's bring our image planes back so we can get a look at how big that should be. Okay, we've got ours a little bit too big, so let's just, oh wait. Okay, obviously my original one wasn't quite square, so let's just scale out this way a bit. There we go. So that's created our inner door frame lip. Now you'll notice that this is kind of bent here. It's not really an issue. We select all the vertex along this side, make sure we've got them all, and we just straighten them up. So set them to 0 in X and they'll just straighten. You can do the same at the bottom should you have a need to, and we do, because I can see that. Let's just turn it off. We've got the same thing happening here. So 0 in Y. Okay, and that actually made our door frame a bit longer, so we would now need to come along, turn back on the reference layer, and because our door frame wasn't central on the grid, but that's okay. Alright, perfect. So there we go, and you would of course need to put another lip on the other side of the door, because how this door frame works is, here is the door frame on side A, then there's a lip and the wall kind of slots in here, and then there's another lip where the wall finishes, and then you turn around and you have door frame B. Okay, that'll make, if that doesn't kind of compute to you, that'll make a lot more sense when we get this in the room and we put the wall in the middle of it. You'll see what we're doing. Okay, so let's just take this and just do the same thing, really. I mean, we could have done these both at the same time, would have saved us a bit of time, but you know, it's not too arduous a task, really. Okay, now we'll mirror this. Sorry, we'll scale this. Let's just put that in the center, give it a scale. Okay, and let's bring back the double view so we can get a look. Whoops, not so easy actually. Where are we? There we are. Okie dokie, that's kind of working for me. And then it just remains to straighten them up again. So vertex mode and 0 all these out. As I said, it would have been probably easier to do this all at the same time, but okay. So that's kind of created our door frame there. Let's just mirror it over to the other half. So mesh and mirror geometry. There we go. In this case we're in +X mirror. Alright, one thing that won't have happened though is because we don't have merge turned on, we'll have this problem where we're going to get a hole here. Okay, so once again you can go to object mode and you can try a mesh merge, edit mesh, sorry, merge. Alright, and that will have done it. So now if I take this vertex, you'll see there's only one there. Alright, if that doesn't work, you can of course select them and merge them using the tool shelf we created, or just the marking menu, merge vertices. Alright, so there is our door frame. We'll be getting this into our room when we do the final kind of putting the room together. But there you go, pretty simple. And I have just realized I've committed a most grievous of sins. I never extruded these outwards, so if we just take care of that now, my apologies. And again, this is going to be real simple. In fact, I don't need this image plane anymore, so I'll press Ctrl H and okay. So this would have been much easier had we done it when we should have done it, but not such a huge thing. Let's just grab these faces here, press Q to get rid of the move tool. Okay, and let's take a look at the front view. And of course I'm just going to extrude these faces outwards now. So here we go, and I'm just going to extrude to the first point. Then I'm going to unselect these because we don't want to extrude them anymore, and then G to extrude again to the second point, and don't need that one anymore, and G, and out we go to sort of the end point. Okay, so there we go. That's given us the lip on the door frame, which now matches the reference. Obviously you'd have to come in and do the one on the other side. Like I said, that should have been done before we mirrored, but it's not such a big issue. So anyway, I'll see you in the next part, and I hope you found something interesting in this one. Thanks for watching.